BBC News, Moscow protest, thousands demand fair elections.
Here's a summary of the article.
More than 20,000 protesters have gathered in Moscow demanding free and fair elections in the Russian capital. Protesters are calling for opposition candidates to be allowed to register for the September polls. The authorities have refused to register them despite each candidate gathering the minimum 5,000 signatures needed to be eligible to run. Opposition leaders including the most prominent, Alexei Navalny, joined supporters at the rally. Organizers said on Facebook that they were protesting for a Russia without bandits, fraudsters, swindlers and thieves. Last week, police arrested dozens of protesters at another rally in defense of independent election candidates. The protests come amid a drop in approval ratings for Mr. Putin and anger over declining living standards and widespread corruption.
This post received a score of 21,477, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
One candidate, Lyubov Zabul, has been on hunger strike for more than a week, demanding that she be allowed to run.
Greater than has been on hunger strike for more than a week. Does any important higher-up figure in Russia even care?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as well. If she starves herself, isn't it all the better for Putin and co? Edit, she not he.
Is not a message to Putin, but to those who want change and are afraid, to give them courage to do their part. As always, this will only succeed if they reach a critical mass, which is unlikely quite frankly, but she is trying. If all of Moscow were protesting then something may change, but who knows if that will ever happen. Seems like enough people are happy living under a mobster oligarchy. Greater than seems like enough people are happy living under a mobster oligarchy. Works in America, why wouldn't it work there?
At least we have the power to vote our president out.
Do we though?
Panama Papers dude. Most definitely. Edit, I thought he was asking if we live under a mobster oligarchy.
How does that give anyone hope for affecting politics?
The government party, which can also be called the Putin party, lost several elections in different regions. And without any research it is obvious that in fair elections in Moscow they will lose, with humiliating results. Therefore, they are trying to simply not allow any worthy opposition candidates to the elections.
Same situation in many other ex-USSR republics, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, etc., with a notable exemption of Ukraine. Voter suppression is running rampant in former Soviet Russia. Sad.
Something similar happened with last presidential elections in Turkey. Although the candidate ran in the elections just fine, the whole media except 1 to 2 channels ignored his rallies. Ince ran more than 100 rallies while Erdogan ran a bit more than 15, and big channels streamed 100% of Erdogan's rallies and less than few hours of Ince's. Just because an election isn't rigged doesn't mean it's fair.
Don't believe the trolls that claim Russians don't want democracy or their country is hopelessly corrupt. It's just a trick to make sure no one tries to improve the situation and thereby threaten Putin's power.
Hot damn. Every single reply blow you is literally, but Russians don't want democracy and our government is corrupt, there is no point in fighting it. Lucky for them Google Translate is so on point.
It's always the same thing. But notice their claims that Russians don't want democracy are predicated on the moral correctness of popular consent. Even their own arguments against democracy can't help but leverage democratic principles everyone is naturally inclined to hold.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.